What's going on, guys? It's Mike for Sim Racing 604, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Fanatec Direct Drive series, the Podium series. So today is July 15th, 2018, and just a couple days ago, a couple members of the Fanatec team took to Facebook for a live stream. There's, I think, about 1,500 people at max watching it, and I'm sure many thousands more have seen it since. And so they wanted to introduce their Podium series, and what we got was sort of three entries. The first being the DD2. They spent a lot of time talking about this. This is their top of the line entry. So it features an 18 Newton meter motor, peaking at 24 Newton meters if I'm not mistaken. And then there will also be the DD1 series, which is kind of a lower end, well, not lower end, but a bit more economical model with a 15 Newton meter motor peaking at 18 Newton meters. I could be wrong about those stats. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then they alluded to a console exclusive, aka PS4 exclusive model coming sometime in the future. So we'll kind of parse that out and talk about each. Overall, I'm very excited for this, and there's just two kind of head smack moments that I encountered when I was watching this live stream. Things that I think they can probably improve upon. It's not too late. So I want to just start out with the DD2 and say I'm very excited, and I think this will be a very competitive entry into the direct drive market. Reason being is, sure, we have, you know, OSW kits, there's the AccuForce, and you know, there's the Leo Bodner. There's a few options out there, but what Fanatec has that nobody else has is, well, not nobody else, I shouldn't say that, but what they have probably over most of their competitors is a huge amount of user data. So they are, you know, one of the top of the line sim racing products. We all know and love their products. I run their pedals, and so they have, you know, sold thousands of units and collected a lot of data about what users want. So I think that's going to translate nice into their new top of the line wheel. I think they'll hopefully take some of that user data and apply it and make it into something really cool that is a very competitive product. Throughout the live stream, they flashed some graphs up there. They were hard to read. I think they're streaming at 480p or something like that. Hard to read the graphs. I wasn't concerned about that. I think what's really going to be telling about this product is whether or not users, I mean, I'm assuming, you know, Will from Sim Racing Paddock and, you know, probably a number of others will get demo wheels, and that's what I would wait for personally before I pulled the trigger on anything. Was just to see, you know, what they actually think, how the wheel actually drives, not some data that, you know, Fanatec may have culled and who knows what that data was actually saying. But I think once the users get their hands on it, that's when we'll really tell. But I have high hopes. I think it's going to be a great product. However, the first head smack moment was the $1,500 price point for the base. Is it high? Yes. Is it outrageous? No. So by no means is it, you know, priced as a Leo Bodner or anything like that. But I think what they did with the $1,500 price point is price themselves into a sort of ugly medium. And what I mean by that is they didn't go, you know, under $1,000 or something where it becomes a no-brainer. Like, think about that. If we had a $1,000 direct drive base and you could buy the GT3 wheel for a couple $100 more, that would be a wicked combination. You know, for about the price of an AccuForce. And quite frankly, even though I run AccuForce and I love my AccuForce, if I was just going to buy one or the other, I'd probably go with the Fanatec. So they didn't do that, but they also didn't price themselves high enough to where you would know you're getting the best of the best. Had this been priced at $2,000 and they went on to say, we use, you know, this motor and this system of, you know, applying that motor most efficiently, and you knew you were getting the best thing on the market, they could have gone that way as well, but they didn't. They kind of straddled the in-between. So what we're left with is at $1,500 for the base, plus a wheel. Let's say you go with the GT3 wheel. I think it's a couple $100. You know, it's creeping up into the $1,700-$1,800 mark. That's a lot of money. That really is a lot of money, in my opinion. And you're talking to a guy who spent $1,000 on a direct drive wheel not that long ago. So it seems like a lot to me. And again, I just wish they had committed in one direction or the other. As it stands, they've priced themselves quite competitively with, you know, some of the OSW kits and things like that. By the time you add on a wheel, this one comes with a quick release and a few other features that make it, you know, worthy of that class. But again, I just wish they had kind of cheated to one way or the other, but they didn't. They chose to go in the medium, so I wasn't really happy about that. But again, I do think it's going to be a great product once it hits the market. Moving on to the DD1. So the DD1 is their again, I don't want to say it's lower end. It's definitely not entry level, but it is a little bit cheaper. It has the 50 Newton meter motor. So a little bit lighter. You're cheating down towards the lighter end of the direct drive scale. And this one, definitely, and I'm having trouble finding the words here, this is definitely the second head smack moment. I was in the stream, I was watching the chat, and what everyone was saying is, what's the price, what's the price, what's the price? And they said there is no price. What they're doing is an auction. They have chosen to auction the first several units and figure out what the market is willing to pay for a direct drive wheel. Head smack. I don't think that's a good strategy. Now, look, I'm not an MBA or anything like that. I just don't think that's a good strategy. I really don't think it's a good strategy for finding out what the market is willing to pay. I think what you're going to have is people wanting to own one of the first few units and get, you know, the pre-order out of the way, and you're going to have a really, really high price. I think what they'll probably end up settling with is this thing will come in a couple $100. The DD1, that is, will come in a couple $100 cheaper than the DD2. Not much more. Why is it not much more? I mean, I would love to tell you that I think it's going to be $700 or $800, but I really don't see them cheating it down that much. I think you're going to be looking at $1,200 or $1,300 for even the lower end base. Reason being is, if they did go really cheap, if they went, you know, $700, $800, $900, something like that, and the build is basically the same, it's just a lesser motor, people would look at it and say, well, I'm not willing to pay another $600, $700, $800 just for an extra 3 Newton meters of torque. What am I really gaining with that? So what they're likely going to do is price it somewhere in the $1,200, $1,300 mark would be my guess, and so it becomes the opposite. It's going to price themselves into selling the DD2 more. Reason being is, if you're saying to yourself, well, it's $1,200 for the DD1, or I could get their top of the line for just a couple $100 more, yeah, I'm going that way. So that's where I think they'll land with price. Just speculation at this point, but in the meantime, we get to suffer through another Fanatec auction. If you guys remember their last Black Friday sale and the auctions just kept crashing and crashing and crashing, prepare to suffer through that. You can't see it, but just off screen right now, I have the Fanatec website. I was looking up a couple of details. I have it opened up and it took forever to load. And that's at the DD1 page. So yes, they're experiencing higher than usual, you know, traffic, people checking it out, but still, I just see this as not a good thing, and I don't agree with this strategy. I think they should just pick a price and go with it. Really, that's where I think they should land, but again, not up to me. So finishing it up with the console. Now, a lot of people I saw in the chat were saying, well, real sim racers don't run console, and why would anybody want a high-end direct drive wheel to run on a console? And there may be some merit to that. But I want you to think about something for just a second. By having the first official, the first native support, I guess, direct drive wheel on console, on PS4 that is, they're going to sort of separate themselves from the pack. You're going to be able to say, I have the best sim racing wheel available for console by owning whatever they choose to call it, the DDC, let's say it's called. So I think there is some merit to that. I think that's a really marketable angle for them. And I want you to think also about the numbers behind console. Okay, if you look at Gran Turismo Sport, I know a lot of you don't see it as a sim, and that's fine. But just think about Gran Turismo Sport. They just passed 5 million users. That is a huge, huge number that a lot of our other favorite sims could never dream of passing. 5 million is a huge number. And that's for Gran Turismo Sport. So if you look at Forza, things like that, that also have a heavy console user base, there's a market there. There's definitely a market there. Even if only 1% of those, 5 million plus whatever Forza users are in sort of the headspace to buy a direct drive wheel or to own the, best console wheel available, that's a lot of people. That's a massive amount of sales, so I don't blame them one bit for going that route. So that pretty much summarizes it, guys. Again, overall, I think Fanatec will hit this one out of the park. And my advice to you, if you're thinking about going with it, let a few of the sort of bigger names in sim racing, let them get their hands on it. They're going to get early access to it. They're going to be able to demo it at upcoming shows, things like that. Let them give their feedback and make your decision from there. But I do have high hopes. I think it's going to be a really fantastic wheel. My advice to Fanatec is the DD2, either raise or lower the price. Obviously, I'm a consumer. I would love to see it if you could lower the price and I could add on a GT3 wheel, maybe a bundle that goes on sale and makes you price competitive with the AccuForce. Your timing is really bad because the AccuForce is likely going to go on sale on Black Friday for $1,000. And people will have a basis for comparison at that point coming into Christmas, saying, AccuForce $1,000 versus the Podium $1,500 plus a wheel, unless they happen to be Fanatec users already and have the wheel. But you know what I'm saying. It's going to be really, really a tough sell at that price point. So I hope you're able to lower that price point. And then DD1, I think it's going to be very cool, but I don't expect it to be price competitive with sort of a lower end simplicity or anything like that. And definitely not Feel VR if Feel VR ever becomes a reality. So all in all, guys, I don't want this to come off negative. I think it's going to be a fantastic direct drive wheel. I just think there's a couple of, again, head smack moments, one being the price of the DD2 and the other one being the auction sale price of the DD1. Come on, guys. You were so close to perfect on this. And then the console wheel is going to be very, very cool. So I'm excited, guys. So let me know in the comments, please. I know I've been going on and on about this, but let me know what you think. What's your take on the Podium series? Do you plan on buying them, and are any of you going to join the auction? Are you holding out? Are you leaning towards AccuForce? Are you leaning towards OSW? Or are you holding out for Podium? Let me know what you think, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.